Thank you very much. I'm actually more than happy to be in Belayim. I am more than happy to see this growing movement of solidarity with the Palestinian people that has been rooted all over the world, from the United States to Europe to Africa to the Middle East to Latin America to all over. And I think the message you are sending, not only to the international community, but the message you are sending to our people is a message of determination, message of resistance, and message that one day we will make it. The Palestinian people have been in this struggle for more than 100 years by now. And as the gentle lady who spoke before me mentioned, that this year is the year in which occupation should actually end. And I am here to speak to you on how to end occupation from an economic perspective. Now, I would like also to welcome my colleagues here, George Rashmawi and Sam Bahour, who will also tackle issues from a different angle. But let me start by saying, as you know, today there has been some sort of political movement, the Arab Initiative, a quartet meeting, a joint Arab quartet meeting with an international quartet meeting, and the idea is to relaunch the Arab Peace Initiative. In my opinion, we have only 6 months in front of us. During these 6 months, if anything can be done, it will be done within these 6 months. Otherwise, I think 2007 will be lost in terms of going back to the peace table. You have a weak American president, you have a weak Israeli leadership, and this means that the Israeli leadership will not be really in a position to come forward for the peace process. The signs that we have received are not very positive signs from the Israeli side in their reception of the Arab Initiative. Yesterday, an Arab delegation was formed from Jordan and Egypt to come and deliver an Arab message to the Israelis. Regardless of this, but I wanted to mention these 2-3 political points simply because economics does not work in a vacuum. Economics works within a political frame. If the political frame is clear, then the economic situation will follow, especially in the case of Palestine. The Palestinian economic crisis of today is not because we are lazy, is not because the Palestinians don't go to work early, is not because our land is infertile. It's simply because there is a military siege that has been imposed on our people for the last 5 years, since the 28th of September 2000, which actually is another circle of the Israeli measures and Israeli occupation on our people. So the crisis has political and military reasons behind it. Now, the Palestinian economy, because of having the Palestinian territory under occupation, has been made dependent upon Israel. The Israelis control our borders. Our economy has been made weak. The productive base of the economy is very weak, simply because there has been systematic destruction of the Palestinian economy for the sake of making it easier to be swallowed by the Israeli economy and made dependent. This dependency of the Palestinian economy is not similar to the dependency of Latin America or the banana republics on the United States. This dependency is not by the choice of the Palestinian people. This dependency is imposed by the military might of the Israeli occupation. And therefore, any way out of this dependency relationship has a precondition for it, which is to liberate the Palestinian territory and people from the occupation itself in order for us to reshape the future relationship between the Palestinian economy and the Palestinian and the Israeli economy. Now, I want to tell you one thing. Even today, at a time when there is a Palestinian infrastructure, Palestinian telecommunication company, Palestinian electricity company, und so weiter, and so on and so forth, if you want to make a phone call from Ramallah to Nablus, you dial 09. 09 is not the code for the city of Nablus. 09 is the code for the city of Netanya, which means that even at a time when we have an independent Palestinian telecommunication company, all the system is totally dependent upon the Israeli system. 95% of the electricity that is supplied to the Palestinian cities, towns, refugee camps, and villages comes from the Israeli sources. In one single night, in 1999, all of Gaza slept in darkness, including the office of President Arafat at the time, because one single Israeli had the power to switch off all the electricity from Gaza, and it can be done in Ramallah, in Nablus, in Hebron, in Bil'in, and everywhere. More than that, the dependency, the imposed dependency that was made on the Palestinian territory, the road network in the West Bank used to go from south to north, because when Israel was created in 48, there was a total cut-off from the road networks that used to go north, south, east, west. So there was no east-west roads between 48 and 67. And in order for Israel to facilitate the integration of the Jewish settlements into that of Israel, a new road network was established, and most of the road network goes from east to west to make the life of the settler easier and for the settlers to feel that they are still within the borders of Israel. So the dependency also was related to the road networks that were made and designed in a way to accommodate the Palestinian land, the Palestinian economy, Palestinian movement of labor, and so on into that of Israel. Not only that, the land confiscation was used as a mechanism, as a push factor for the Palestinians to leave their land and become a proletariat, cheap laborers in the Israeli market, in the Israeli labor market. When Israel imposed its total closure on the Palestinian territory, land was confiscated. The farmers, the process of the proletarianization of the Palestinian peasantry, Baltarat al-Fallahin, the Palestinian workers who came back from the Israeli labor market found no land to work on because the land was confiscated. So the pull factor and the attractiveness of the Israeli labor market, combined with a push factor of the land confiscation, it actually made an end result of having 120,000 Palestinian cheap laborers working in the Israeli labor market, who today are totally unemployed in the streets of Hebron, Gaza, Khan Yunis, Rafah, and so on and so forth. We ended in having a situation in which the unemployment rate today in the Palestinian territories is more than 55% of the total labor force. The total labor force is 621,000 people. 55% of them don't work. The siege of today has led to a situation in which 75% of the Palestinian people, 75% of the Palestinian people live under poverty line. And poverty line is 1,400 shekels for a family of 4 a month. Poverty line in Israel is 4,300 shekels. 1 kilogram of sugar in the village of Bil'in, The price of it is equivalent to a price of kilogram of sugar in Tel Aviv. At a time where per capita income in Tel Aviv is $17,000 and per capita income in Bil'in is $800 per person per year. So this is what actually means the total destruction of the Palestinian territory, of the Palestinian economy, and of the Palestinian life. Not only that, 80% of our imports comes from Israel. We cannot import directly because, again, Israel controls our border. And 64% of the Palestinian exports goes through Israel or to Israel. And this means, again, that all the trade relationship is one direction. It has been made to be one direction. The Palestinian economy was totally divorced from its Arab international dimension and depth. And therefore, again, this is an important element of how the Palestinian economy was made dependent, and how the Palestinian economy was made weak, and how the Palestinian economy is under total siege. More than that, Israel today blocks the transfer of about $800 million that is dues, that's our money, that Israel collects on our behalf at the seaports, at the airports, at the exits, and so on and so forth. At a time when the Palestinian civil servants are not receiving any penny of their salaries, Israel again is blocking the transfer of our own money. And not only Israel, Europe has renewed its total siege on the Palestinian Authority, not transferring any single money to the Palestinian government. Not only that, the United States, as you know, through the office called OFAC, Office of Foreign Asset Control, which is within the American Treasury, that does not allow the transfer of any single dollar from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, wherever, United States and so on, to the Palestinian government, under the condition or under the justification that the Palestinian government is a government of Hamas and Hamas is a terrorist organization, and so on and so forth. The first step for our solidarity movement is to end the siege, the international siege on the Palestinian government, and to end the internal closure that Israel is imposing through 581 military checkpoints that are there from Jenin to Hebron, all through Ramallah, Nablus, and the other Palestinian areas. Now, also, I should not take much of your time, and I would like also to allow my colleagues to have the chance to speak to you. I want to mention one important point, that for us all to get out of this dependency relationship that was imposed on us by the military might, and to end the financial siege that is imposed on the Palestinian people, I think an international solidarity movement with one voice is crucial, is important, and the message that comes from Bil'in is not only a message against the wall, but it should be a message against all kinds of oppression, all kinds of occupation, all kinds of colonial relations. And we have a successful model that is in front of us, which is the model of South Africa, where where our comrades, the compañeros of South Africa, have managed to make it through international solidarity, through their personal struggle, through every single effort in one direction to end this colonial regime that is now imposed on the Palestinian people. I think it is time for us all to speak loud and clear that the Palestinian international relationship should not go through Israel, because then Israel will continue to have its hand on the tap, and it will not allow us even to drink water. What is happening in the Jordan Valley today, the settlers swim in modern swimming pools, and the Palestinian people don't have water to drink. This is what kind of colonial relation that does not strip the land of the people, but the water as well, but even they pollute our air. The sewage from the settlements goes into the valleys of the West Bank and Gaza to cause the total pollution of our water and so on and so forth. So in order for all of this to end, occupation should end first, colonial relationships should end, and the Palestinian people should seek to deepen their economic relationship with the Arab depth, with the European depth, with the American depth, with the African depth, with the Latin American depth. And with your solidarity, I assure you, we will make it. Thank you.